everybody, welcome to the workshop. In today's episode is going to be something yet again a little bit different for me. I'm going to be doing some bookbinding. So what I have here is an NIV Bible, and I want to turn it into a hardcover. Now, for me, I have a larger goal in mind for this particular hobby. I have a Bible that I got from my family that was printed back in the 1800s. And it's in pretty decent shape, but it needs a lot of work to get it back to good. It's got ripped pages, the front cover is missing, and it's something that I really want to restore. So, seeing as how I also do like doing leather working as well, being able to turn books into hardcovers, and doing the leather crafting on that, so I kind of look at it as also a ultimate goal in mind to do the restoration of the one Bible, but also getting to expand the leather crafting as well. So there's a lot of fun things to be able to do with this. So this is why I'm getting into this. I've already done one book. This is going to be my second one. First one didn't come out so well, which I didn't expect it to. It was a learning experience, and I got to learn a lot of different things. So I'm hoping to take some of those things that I've learned and apply them to the next step, which is going to be this one right here. So if this interested you, then follow along with me today on Adam's Workshop. Now we've come to a part of the project where it was time for me to take the cover that I've made and glue the text block into it. And the cover came out looking pretty nice. Inside and outside, it's looking pretty good. I got one little mistake right here where you can see there's a gap in it, and that's literally just because I didn't get it pulled over well enough during the gluing. So that's something to note. However, there's one major problem with this cover. And it's really not the cover's fault, it's my fault. And it's not the corner. It is when I put the text block up to it and set it where it's supposed to be, it is really, really off. Now, as you know, I do a lot of different things, woodworking being one of them. And in a lot of cases, what we do is we will cut something oversized and then we will trim it down to length. Whether that's table saw, bandsaw, filing, sanding, cutting, you name it, whatever it takes. But it's always good to have something oversized versus undersized because it's easier to take material away than it is to add material. So that's what I started off with here. However, I forgot one major thing, and that was to go back after I had decided, okay, this was good, to trim it to length. So now I've got something that is, let's find out just how bad it is. It is approximately 1 1/16 of an inch off. That's quite a bit. Well, I guess technically I need to account for it, so we'll say, how much is this one? About a quarter. So to here, I'll say about 1 inch needs to be taken off the top. It's also a little bit off too when I close it, although that's not near as bad. It's really close in here. So for that part, I could get away with this right here. That's good. But it needs to take literally about 1 inch off. So this means that I've messed up. I've made mistakes. But you know what? Mistakes are a good thing because mistakes are how we learn. So what I'm going to attempt to do is, my first thought was to just throw this away and start over. But I'd be missing out on a perfect opportunity to try to fix it. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to pull some of this cardstock here that I glued on as a cover for this, try to cut it back and peel it off, and then take the leather and peel it back down to a certain level, and then cut it, and then try to rebind it or reglue it again. See if we can actually save this. See if it will turn out looking just as good as it does now, which is nice and clean and smooth. There's no bubbles or anything. Or if I'm just going to mess it all up. But either way, I've got to try because that's the best way to learn. So it's time to get started. we have completed another bookbinding project. Now, since I did have the little oopsie of having about 1 inch too much on the top of it here, and I cut it down, the result of that is it actually turned out pretty nice. I also had this right corner right here too that I didn't quite get pulled over enough before the glue set. So when I cut it, it actually helped to clear that up as well. Once again, my corners are not absolutely perfect, but that'll come with some more time and experience. However, fixing it by pulling or cutting the leather off at the corner, or the inside here rather, peeling it back and then cutting it and then pulling it back and redoing it actually came out really well. So quite happy about that. The edges from the text block here to the edge of the now hardback cover is a little bit thick. It's not completely even around. So that is one thing I'm going to be working on. Now, as you can see by me doing this too, I pretty much just laid it down and said, okay, there it is, just like that. So I already knew that I was not, getting my ruler out, taking good measurements, and really trying to make it perfect. Perfection is not my goal at the moment. I still have a few more of these Bibles, and each time that I do one, my idea is to say, okay, this is how this one went. Now, what are the things that didn't go right? Big one is, obviously, I had too much space, and I'm not getting the correct spacing all the way around still. However, from the first one, this one right here looks really good. The other one, you could definitely tell the pages were sticking out. Nothing was quite right with it. So this one right here definitely got a lot better as far as the spacing, but it still shows that it needs some improvement. It looks good, just nice and solid. Everything is glued quite well. There's no problems there. So going into my next one, the major focus is going to be getting the hardcover to be correct all the way around versus the text block. I also need to do a little bit better on my spacing between the spine and the cover as well, because there is a little bit of a dimple right here, space between the spine and the cover. But even though, as you saw, I used a 6mm spacer on either side, I still didn't get that quite correct either. So for my next one, I'm planning on trying to do this correctly now that I have had experience actually doing it. So some people might say, well, why not just do it right from the start? And you could try doing that, but the thing I found out for myself is that I start looking at everything and saying, well, this could go wrong and that could go wrong, and I end up having paralysis by analysis. So what I found out for myself personally is I want to get started. I want to make it. And if I'm sitting there thinking about all the things that could go wrong or how I need to do this or the right procedure for it, I pretty much end up sitting on the couch dreaming about doing what I want to do. So in this case, I just threw caution to the wind and said, let's make a book, or rebind a book rather. Now I have one. Now I can actually see the pitfalls, see how, taking the measurements and where I need to improve. Because I would rather just sit there and mess up and say, okay, that's where I screwed up, and that's where I need to focus my attention. And by doing that, I can try to get good at this right here. Then, as I'm going along, I can identify other places that have made mistakes as well. So then work on those instead of just not doing anything at all. Because the important part here is to just get started. Get started. Get out in the shop and make something. I don't care if it doesn't look good. Make it. Just make it. So, these are the things that I'm going to be working on here, and so I'm going to continue on. I'm happy with how this turned out. It's an improvement over my first one, and now I'm going to be improving the next time I do it. So, if this has been interesting to you and you're looking forward to seeing more, whether it's bookbinding, whether it's leather crafting, woodworking, jewelry making, whatever it is, stick with me because I'm going to be making a lot more stuff. So thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll see y'all again next time in the workshop.